Hey Space Watchers, and welcome back here from the Red Rocks in the outskirts of the beautiful Denver city. It's a wonderful day, it's chilly, it's windy, but that's how we like it. And it's Saturday. And I have the great pleasure to meet here with Hannah Ashford, the Managing Director of the Karman Foundation. Hannah, how are you doing?
Chilly, but good. Thank you so much for having me.
And what's on, 27-hour flight coming in here, right?
Yeah. It was about 32 door to door, so it's been a journey. Arrived late last night, so apologies in advance for the jet lag.
No problem at all. So, you just finished or just closed the Karman Fellowship 2024 application process. So, how did it go?
Yeah, we were honestly really overwhelmed and quite humbled by the amount of applications we received. So this year we received just over 350 applications. So at the moment we have a shortlisting committee. They're working very hard to go through them to reduce that number of applications to 50 shortlisted candidates who we will present to an independent selection board on the 20th of April. So meeting a lot of people, a lot of stories from around the world. It's actually one of our favorite parts of the year because we can just see so many stories of impact from across the globe.
We had you as a guest in one of our programs before, and what my reading of the Karman Fellowship is, or Karman Foundation is, that your mantra is space for collaboration, space for cooperation. What does it mean? It sounds very abstract at the first reading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at the space ecosystem today, there's an abundance of activity, which also comes, of course, on one side with immense opportunity, but then immense challenges. And what we really see is that the future of space cooperation, it needs to be multilateral. We can no longer necessarily rely just on sort of the forums of executive governance that we have. As important as they are, we need to ensure that we're really actively involving stakeholders from across the board. That needs to be multidisciplinary, that needs to be international, and we need to be very proactive in terms of anticipating the future, anticipating how people are communicating and forming relationships, and we really believe that those relationships start with people. So change starts with people. Big decisions that are being made, ultimately, yes, are being made by organizations, but they start with human relationships, and if we can do our part in increasing as many international relationships and touch points between people, ensuring that there are strong relationships between people coming from established nations through to emerging and non-spacefaring nations, then that can have very tangible impacts in the future of space.
It sounds that you build a true community of values, not of power, but even so many of your fellows are very powerful. But how do you assure in this kind of evaluation process you mentioned before that people not just applying to have something to show in their CV? How do you judge on the values that people bring in and live? And I know it's a very complex one for a 3-minute interview.
Yeah. No, I mean, thank you for recognizing that. I think that's a really important part of the Karman community is that we, on one hand, it is important for us to be working with people who are at a decision-making level, because that means that they're ready to implement and they're in transformative positions of power, so they can go out and get things done. But at the same time, when you look at how we assess our applicants, there's 5 criteria, and only one of them really looks at professional accomplishment. So 4 of them are around their strategic thoughts around the future of space. We really look at their motivation. We look at a track record of leadership. So we look for people who have a demonstrated history of being able to implement things across borders, across disciplines, and that really tells us a lot more about someone's character than a CV can. So we do our best to make sure that we're working with highly motivated, well-intentioned people.
There's so much more to talk, but we're running out of time and we're freezing off. Sorry, it's so cold. But you had our Dr. Emma Gatti, our editor-in-chief, in the program last year, and I mean, when she talks about it, her eyes are wide open and she keeps on smiling and is really proud to be part of it. So I would like to invite you for a follow-up interview at Space Cafe Radio, where we sit down in a warm place, in a cozy place, and talk about the projects you guys are doing, and maybe we do that after the evaluation process of the new cohort. How does it sound for you?
Sounds perfect. We'd be so excited to introduce you to the new fellows as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hannah. And with that, SpaceWatch out.